I have always been fascinated by how humans try to make sense of the world around them. And there's this ancient practice that's caught between two worlds, the mystical and the logical. I'm talking about numerology. And today I want to take you on a journey that might change how you think about numbers. Picture this. Ancient Egypt, thousands of years ago. Scholars and priests studying the night sky, recording patterns and discovering something remarkable. Numbers weren't just for counting. They believed each number carried its own energy, its own story. Fast forward to ancient Greece and we meet an interesting character named Pythagoras. Yes, the same guy whose theorem gave you headaches in math class. But here's something your math teacher probably didn't tell you. Pythagoras believed numbers were the key to understanding the entire universe. But here's where our story gets interesting. In my years of studying numerology, I've noticed how people tend to swing between two extremes, either dismissing it completely or believing it can predict their every move. The truth? Well, it's not that simple. Let me share something with you. Last week, I received a message from a viewer who was terrified because a numerologist told them they were in a bad number year. It reminded me why we need to separate fact from fiction. Let's talk about these myths that have been floating around. So first up, the idea that numerology can predict exactly what's going to happen in your life. If only it were that simple. Think of it more like checking the weather forecast. It might tell you to bring an umbrella, but it can't tell you exactly where each raindrop will fall. Then there's this other myth that numerology is pure superstition. But here's what's fascinating. While science hasn't proven numerology, it has shown us something incredible about how our universe works. Ever heard of the Fibonacci sequence? It's this mathematical pattern that shows up everywhere in nature, from the way flowers grow to how galaxies spiral. You know what really gets me excited? The way science and ancient wisdom sometimes overlap. Our brains are literally wired to find patterns. It's how we survived as a species. Scientists call it pattern recognition. The ancient practitioners of numerology, they were doing exactly that, just with a different vocabulary. But here's the thing, and I want you to really hear this, we need to be careful. Our brains are also really good at playing tricks on us. We remember when the numbers work and conveniently forget when they don't. Scientists call this confirmation bias. I call it the I knew it trap. So where does this leave us? In my journey studying both the scientific and mystical aspects of numerology, I've come to see it as something beautiful, yet practical. It's like having an ancient map while also using GPS. Both can help you find your way, just in different ways. Maybe numerology isn't about predicting the future or proving scientific facts. Maybe its real power lies in helping us reflect, question, and understand ourselves better. After all, isn't that what all great tools for understanding do? Before I go, I want to hear from you. What's your experience with numerology? Are you a skeptic who's curious or a believer who's questioning? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Let's keep this conversation going. And if you're enjoying these deep dives into the space where science meets ancient wisdom, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell. Remember, in a world that often wants us to choose between logic and intuition, sometimes the wisest path is learning from both.